So Samsung recently just did their Unpacked event, which wasn't actually a bad show. Normally those things are kind of cringeworthy, but this one was actually pretty good. They debuted a ton of different new and cool technologies. It was a little bit long, but like I said, overall, not a bad show. And we're probably going to be talking about a lot of those technologies on this channel, so definitely stay tuned for that. But today, I want to go over the Samsung Galaxy S21, their baseline phones that they debuted in that Unpacked event. Whenever a new phone is released, the subsequent question of what is the difference between the two phones always comes into play. So I like making these videos so the average consumer or a consumer looking to purchase one of these two phones knows what the key differences are so you can make an overall better buying decision. So without further ado, let's get right into the video of the 5 key differences between the Samsung Galaxy S20 and the Samsung Galaxy S21. So let's start off with the processor, which is probably arguably the most important part of the phone. It can't do anything without a processor, and without a good processor, you really can't do much. So with the new S21, you are getting the new Snapdragon 888 5G processor, which is about 22% faster than the Snapdragon 865 and about 16% faster than the Snapdragon 865 Plus. So you are definitely getting an upgrade in the processing power here with this new device. Now, there's no doubt that having a faster processor is always a good thing. And without a doubt, if a new phone comes out, you got to believe that the next phone that comes out, the processor is going to be a lot faster than the one that previously came out before it. But when approaching processors, I always like to say, just take stock on what you actually do on your mobile device. If your mobile device is older and you're still getting just enough speed, or you're not seeing too many hiccups, or you don't believe you do so much on your phone that you need a ton of processing power, you don't play a lot of games, you don't do a lot of things that need processing like editing videos or editing media, you don't need a faster processor in general, then you shouldn't really factor the fact that one has a faster processor over the other. But I do want to put that with a caveat that a faster processor definitely future-proofs your device. So if you're planning on not upgrading your device for quite some time, you probably want to go with the latest processor, so down the line you're getting the benefit of the newer technology. So another thing that's going to be upgraded is going to be the fingerprint scanner itself. So you're getting the in-display fingerprint scanner again. You're getting the Qualcomm, the 2nd gen ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, which is about 1.7 times larger than the previous one in the S20, and it adds about 77% more of a larger surface space. So you're able to actually use a lot more space on the screen to unlock your phone. It's also clocked in at about 50% faster in scanning your finger than the older version of the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner. So this is definitely going to improve your ability to unlock your phone and also improve the overall security on the S21 as well. So this is definitely a bonus because it's a bump, and it's one of the things you use the most on any device. You're always locking and unlocking your phone. So the faster you can do that and the more surface space you have to work with, all that is definitely a benefit. Now, this is another thing I think that is really convenient and really cool, and something that can factor into which phone you decide to buy. Having the fingerprint scanner being larger and faster is a great thing. The in-display fingerprint scanner is a great piece of technology, but it's definitely not as fast as the fingerprint scanners that are directly built into the back or side of the phones themselves. So factoring in that this one is an improvement over last year's, especially if you're coming from a device that doesn't have an in-screen fingerprint sensor and you're used to the faster unlocking and relocking of your phone, this one is slated to be a little bit more accurate and a lot faster than last year's version. So that can definitely factor into which phone you decide to purchase. So RAM-wise, you're actually getting less options than you got with the previous generation. The S20 had a 12 gigabyte 5G option and an 8 gigabyte LTE option. The S21 only has an option for 8 gigs of RAM. You're losing the ability to have that extra 12 gigs of RAM option with the S21, and you're also losing that micro SD expandable slot. So you now have 2 variants. You have a 128 gigabyte variant and a 256 gigabyte variant to kind of replace the ability to expand your memory, they gave you an option with more memory for people who need more memory. So this one's actually pretty interesting to me because I am someone who likes the fact that my Note, for instance, has an expandable slot that I can just use a micro SD card if I ever ran out of space. Now, ironically, I've had a ton of phones that have the micro SD slot, but I've never actually used it. So it's more like a peace of mind for me to know it's there. Knowing that it's not there in the S21 is kind of a double-edged sword. You don't have the ability to expand the memory. Personally, I've never used it. I will pass the question off to you guys. Is the expandable storage slot, the micro SD option, is that really a big deal breaker for some of you guys? Do you actually end up ever using the expandable micro SD slot at all? I think one of the main reasons they removed it is just to add that other variant of storage and make more money, of course. And I also think they may have just done some consumer research and realized that most people are probably not using that micro SD slot anyway, but I definitely could be wrong. But again, it's something that should factor into your buying decision because it's something that you're losing. You go with last year's version, you're getting that expandable slot in case you need more storage. If you go with this year's version, you're getting some upgraded internals, but you're losing the ability to expand your memory or your storage in case you run out, which now that it's gone, you probably are. Now you're also getting a bump in the connection wise. So this is going to support the non-standalone and standalone 5G sub 6 gigahertz bands and millimeter waves. And this is definitely a benefit for people who are using 5G more and more. Now this is also something that is inevitable. You're going to see more and more phones come out with better 5G capabilities. This is definitely one of them in the new year. So I didn't see this as a surprise, and it definitely, again, shouldn't really factor too much in which phone you choose. Both phones are going to support 5G. One is going to support the faster band of 5G, which again is not fully rolled out to everybody anyway. So it really depends on where you are in the country. And one of the things I would always suggest is that when you're purchasing a phone, if 5G is going to play a factor in your purchasing decision, then you definitely want to contact your carrier and see if 5G is readily available in your area. Should it even play a role in which phone you purchase? There is that additive that if you don't purchase a 5G phone, you're not really future-proofing yourself, and you're probably going to have to upgrade your phone at some point earlier or sooner rather than later. But it depends on how frequently you upgrade your phone anyway. If you upgrade your phone every 2 years, by that time you're probably going to have some really great 5G phones available. But the S21 is giving you a better overall 5G connection, so if it is in your area, then this may be the one for you. And like I always say when I talk about any new product, price is definitely a feature, because if something's too expensive, you're not going to buy it. And ironically, if something's too cheap, people don't buy it anyway. It's just kind of mental thing that humans have about buying cheap stuff, which we can talk about later. But anyway, the new feature of the Samsung Galaxy S21 is that it's starting at $799, which is a great price point for someone who just wants to buy a really great phone at a pretty good price. $799 is definitely lower than the $899 the S20 was released at, so Samsung did lower the price. Again, you are getting some compromises, losing that micro SD slot, not having the RAM capabilities that the other one had, or having the ability to get that 12 gigs of RAM, but that price point is going to really help a lot of people who just are on the fence of whether they should upgrade their phones or not. So I really do think that's a really great entry price point for someone looking to upgrade their device at the beginning of this year. So anyway, guys, that's going to be the 5 key differences between the Samsung Galaxy S21 and the Samsung Galaxy S20. As always, whenever a new device comes out, you're probably going to be able to find the older one at a cheaper price. You might have to do some digging though, because a lot of these companies sometimes sell out of stock of the older device and they don't restock them because they don't want to compete with themselves, obviously. But it's the internet, it's always available. It's definitely going to be available at a cheaper price. So if you're going into it making that buying decision, I hopefully hope that this video helps you in some way differentiate the two devices. If those features don't matter to you at all, then the S20 is probably going to be the way to go. If the new features or the differences that I mentioned in this video do play a key role and any one of them aren't a deal breaker for you, then the S21 is a phenomenal phone and it's probably going to be the choice that you go with. Either way, remember that the choice that you choose is going to be the right one. As long as you choose the phone that's going to do everything you need it to do. As always, guys, thank you so much for checking out the video. If you found it informative at all, if you like my face, if you like the voice, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe button, and bell down below for notifications so you know when we release some cool, helpful content like this one. Until next time, guys, I'm going to throw up some of the reviews on the older Samsung phones so you can check those out if you're looking or shopping to upgrade to a semi-new phone. Go ahead and check those reviews out. Hopefully they would help. And as always, make sure to stay safe out there. And until I see you guys next time, peace out.